Something that I realized on my healing journey is that it really gets easier. I want to explain why. And personally, I'm very visual, so I'm going to paint a picture for you, okay? Imagine that you find out one day that you received an inheritance of a house, and that's extremely exciting. You're currently renting your house, and you don't know what the future is going to bring. You know you're going to have to move out eventually, but now finding out that you have a house is extremely exciting. So you drive over to the house to see what it's like, see what needs to be done so you can move in. Only to come to find out that the house is old and abandoned and it's full of garbage. Full of garbage. You don't know where all the stuff even came from. It's just so full of stuff, and going into the house is so difficult because it smells so bad. So you have a choice. You can either just continue to abandon the house and wait to see what happens when you need to leave the house you're renting, or you can choose to put in work. So you choose to put in work, okay? Choose to clean it up. So at first when you start, it's insurmountable. First of all, the work laid out ahead of you, you have no idea how much is ahead of you. The house smells so bad, it is so unpleasant to go in there. And also you don't know the layout of the house. So it's very difficult. Also, you have no experience with cleaning up the house. You're not familiar with all the supplies and what works well, and it's just completely new territory for you. So you start small, you start slowly, you start with the entryway, you start clearing it out. And after day one of putting in a lot of effort, you're sweating and you're exhausted. The entryway is cleared out and it smells a little bit better. You go home and you rest. Come back the next day, you work on the first room. This time it's slightly easier because first of all, you have where to sit and rest. Like every hour or so you get to take a break and sit in the entryway where you already worked on. And also you're a little bit finding familiarity with the process. You're starting to find the right tools, the right cleaning supplies, and you're getting into it a little bit. Day two, you finish room one. Or let's say it takes even longer. Let's say it takes a week to clean room one, okay? You finish room one, you move on to room two. And it gets easier because first of all, you have more room to now sit and relax. The house smells less bad. Also, you're really getting into the rhythm of things. And also you're starting to notice the layout of the house a little bit more. And also you're starting to maybe see a little bit of potential in the house. Like you can start imagining how the entryway could be redone a little bit to make it look really gorgeous. And you realize that actually, wait, this house is actually gorgeous. It was just so full of garbage and so dirty that you couldn't see how beautiful it was underneath. And as you go, you get more and more excited. First of all, you find so much satisfaction in the work you've been doing. You come to find out that you love doing it. You really get into the rhythm of it. You are familiar with the layout of the house, and you also really find so much confidence in knowing that you did all that. And eventually, you get to a point where the house is all cleared out and it's ready to move in. And you move into the house, and it's beautiful. Now, every now and then, because it's an old house, issues do crop up, okay? So you find out that you have a leak in one of the rooms, so now you need to fix the leak. Now it broke the ceiling, so what you do is you redo the ceiling, but you come to find out that there's mold in there, so now you need to redo the whole room. Okay, fine, you redid that. But now that whole room is brand new. That room is brand new. There's no mold there, and like you're all good. But now because there was mold there, you go check all the other rooms to make sure there's no mold. So now you know, okay, great, there's no mold in this house. And then you live there another few months, and then another little issue comes up. And every time an issue comes up, the house becomes even better, even more livable. And then one day you discover there's an attic. And you're like, oh wait, I want to utilize this house even more. I want to expand what I have out of this house. So you go into the attic, come to find out that there's a mess. But this time it doesn't even seem so difficult because you're already so familiar with the process of cleaning out. You know all the right tools and supplies that you need, and you get it done so quickly. And also, you know that once you're done, you're going to feel that satisfaction. You're going to have, your house is going to be even more convenient, more practical for you. And you're just enjoying the work because you know what's going to come after. And that's exactly what healing is like. We have wounds. We don't necessarily even know where they come from. It's not our fault. We didn't give them to ourselves. We're not the ones who hoarded and made a mess in our house. It was passed down to us. It's an inheritance. But we have a choice. We can either just continue to be out in the open and, be open to pain, to absorbing other people's, being at the mercy of other people. Like a renter is at the mercy of their landlord, right? The landlord might say one day, okay, you need to move out. Or we can choose to put in the work. And we choose to put in the work. And at first, it is so difficult. We don't know ourselves. We don't know the process. We don't know how long it's going to take. And we don't even know the joy that comes after. We don't know that feeling yet. So it's really, really difficult, really painful to get started with emotional healing. But then slowly, as we heal, we clear out space within ourselves. It becomes more and more comfortable to sit with ourselves. And then we actually start loving ourselves. And we love ourselves because we put in the work. And as we become more and more familiar with the process, we start loving the process because we know what comes after. We start recognizing that feeling of deep happiness that comes from healing, from clearing out all the garbage. And then we get to a point where we're pretty much okay. And then every once in a while, something comes up. But at this point, we can recognize that it's an opportunity to make our internal space even more livable, even more pleasant, and even better for ourselves. We become more and more aligned. And there is literally no better feeling. And then we realize how beautiful we really are on the inside. And we love ourselves. And we just had so much garbage put into us that needed to be cleared out to see the beauty within ourselves. And that's emotional healing.